Alright, so my attempt to set up essentially it involves everybody involved in charging me legally with a felony. So essentially, EMT, the Catholic staff, the arresting officers, both doctors that did the evaluation, the DA, the public defender, the judge, and the bailiff, they were accessing my dark web profile and discussing on how they set me up and how they wanted to throw me in prison for a felony. And that essentially they wanted me to be shoved in Eastern as my punishment, okay? Basically. And so a lot of this has to do with their little pedo bang team, like not being able to, they weren't able to get any money because my profile was sitting in the way. And so this was what they discussed. And so when I heard this, eventually I went and got a 10-day evaluation that evaluated me and inside of Washington, D.C. And I have complex PTSD. And so that is my very concrete, very, basically that is what would be the accepted diagnosis. And so these people planned on diagnosing schizophrenias and shit like that. I knew that. So then, after that, I came back and started doing acting typecasts. And I started saying a bunch of stuff on YouTube. And I wanted to see if they would utilize that in their evaluation. Because I didn't exhibit any signs in 30-minute evaluations of schizophrenia whatsoever. And so I wanted to see what they would write about somebody who is of sound mind and has concrete proof of that around the same time frame. A lot more extensive evaluations than what you people ever did. And so that's what it is that I knew these people were trying to set me up because essentially they were involved with essentially taking over an ISIS drug system that I was living in the middle of, a neighborhood. I was living in the middle of that. And that this is where I knew that anything that didn't correlate around this, I knew because I had heard that they were going to have all these diagnoses that would justify being shoved into Eastern and shit. And see, they were just pissed off because I used to yell into one of my friend's computers, and then they wouldn't be able to do the hookup site. All right? That was a lot of their motives. They wouldn't get like free groceries or car payments and shit. Basically. And so that is where essentially all of that stuff was just meant to show how you people didn't actually do an accurate evaluation and how you people are corrupt. And that then in the end, when that literally didn't really actually, they literally didn't have any proof of what they claimed in the felony. And that essentially, all the things that they did, all the information, they, in the end, the one that claimed the assault would have probably told them behind the scenes how I was just like running away from them. and that they literally gave me a felony charge on purpose, even though they were like trying to like they wanted to taser me. Regardless, they wanted to taser me. That's why they showed up. That's what they wanted. So when my wife made the call, they dispatched that group, and they wanted to taser me. It was a premeditated tasering. I don't have the proof, but I heard their discussions and shit. And that the whole idea is that the situation did not require them to be tasering me at all. The situation did not require them to be pushing me into a fucking fence and shit. They assaulted me. All I did was just like, you know, I attempted to put my bike up in the way of them because they all started encroaching on me. And then the cop said that I hit his hand. And I didn't. And more than likely that cop, because I saw him, he was an older cop. I saw his face. He knew it was bullshit. He knew he was doing it on purpose, and he knew that I knew that too, based on the things that I was saying. I told them not to rape my wife, because that's what Cop Gang does in those situations. And then the whole idea is that those cops saw that I refused of sound mind a CT scan, and then they forced me through that shit. And that this is what led to dismissal. All the little errors in what they did. The whole idea is that hackers or something probably would have had that. And that you people knew that I wasn't exhibiting any. And that then I also made a video going, I know what they're doing. After all those videos, I finally, like, after I started hearing more about their discussions and shit, that's when I just made a video. I was like, now I know what they're doing. All right? That's pretty much it. And they would have seen that. And then they would have realized that everything that they were doing was essentially, normally when they do that type of stuff, it's a little more, you know, usually the person will be fighting back, and that I wasn't. Not at all. And that then, a year later, probably one of the same bitch-ass little bitch cops came around and probably thought that he had to fix the problems or something by tasering me again. The whole idea is that in that instance, he was like being aggressive at me, and that is probably where you would have thought normally somebody would have been like aggressive back. He told me to step back. I stepped back, and then he pulled out his taser and tasered me. I mean, that's how I know that he was like doing this, trying to fix the profiles and stuff and their little hookups and shit. That's where I know that they were doing that, based on that shit. When you tell someone to step back and they step back, you don't taser them. And that is where, yeah, I even told that guy on the way back to the fucking police station or whatever, to the hospital, I think, or police station. I told him, I was like, you need to go into the Mason Lodge. Because I knew that he was doing that stuff based on a fucking satanic S&M's problems that they thought could be fixed with weird ideas like that. See, a lot of them think if they intimidate me or something, they have these whole groups of people that think that, oh, this dark web problem can be fixed by entrapping people into prison and intimidating people and shit. And then essentially there's just an AI that runs their system now that exposes all of their pedo banks. And that's what their real problem is. It exposes all their pedo banks. And so when they find ways to be making profiles in those systems of me, then it exposes all their pedo banks. And then they think that tasering somebody and shit. Basically, that's what it is. They think that shoving somebody in jail fixes it. None of that stuff does. It's just an AI that exposes your guys' pedo bank. That's all it is. There ain't no fix to it. I mean, that's all it is. There's no delusional encryptions that would ever fix that. I went and got that profile specially built so that it would expose your guys' pedo banks, right? The whole idea is that you guys always have this voyeur hinge shit that you guys do. You guys are always putting this shit into your guys' little fucking hookup shit. And you guys are always making an exploitation profile of me. And so then I got it specially made to expose your guys' fucking pedo banks to everybody. To show that you guys are a bunch of you fucking sick fucks that need to go to prison. Right? So that's not extortion. I don't expect you people to do anything. You people don't put a fucking profile of me in your guys' stupid little hookup site. And then that won't happen. See how I wanted you all to expose everything, and I made you all my stupid little bitch for it. See how your guys' stupid little bitch fingers put the fucking profile in, and it exposed your guys' fucking pedo bank? See how you guys are a stupid little bitch? See, I didn't do one thing illegal. And look how I got what I wanted. You see how everybody right now sees. Everybody sees who's going to be going on little child trafficking routes and shit. Everybody sees. Don't you guys love it? Don't you guys love how I literally didn't do anything and I made you all my bitch by just letting you all think for yourselves? And then you guys expose the one thing that you guys psychotically attempt to cover up all the time? How does that make you guys feel? You guys feel like stupid bitch brains? Just remember that I didn't sign up for your guys' S&M. And that when you guys keep doing exploitations and shit, then that's what exposes your guys' pedo bangs and shit. So, you know, I can envision what it would be like for you people. Probably be pretty stupid to be doing anything that would be exposing that ever. So, keep in mind that when you guys do that shit, that is essentially where you guys are causing the problem that you guys are attempting to cover up. So, in your guys' position, I probably wouldn't be handing that stuff off to huge groups of hackers that essentially will utilize all of you instead of going on a child trafficking route.